Time for Nick to hand out some NBA medals, T-Wolves and Grizzlies, and Ja Morant. God, he's so fun to watch. Powered a big Memphis rally to get the game to overtime and then win it. Finished with 33 points, 8 assists, but just missed out on a medal from Nick. Nick, which three guys were podium-worthy last night?
Unbelievable night in the NBA. Bronze medal, KD, 38, 10, and 4. Would have easily gotten 40, but amazingly didn't play the final 5 minutes because they were getting beat by 20. How the hell do you let that happen, Brooklyn? He gets a bronze, though. Silver, Anthony Davis. Sneaky, almost a high 5 game. The rare 5x5. He had 32, 12, 3, along with he had 3 steals, 5 blocks, 4 assists. It's just unbelievable game by Anthony Davis, but it shouldn't have been that close. They almost blew it at the end. And then the gold. Stephen, you know what? Wardell Stephen Curry. Let me give him the full name. 57 and 10. Steph and Kevin Durant. Right now, 1 and 2, 2 and 1 in the MVP race. Could you imagine, Jenna, if those two ever played together? There it is. Steph Curry gets the gold. 50 and 10 for Chef.
That's a good podium.
Moving on to the wonderful Nets Bulls. Harden tries to hook Lonzo here. Not only does he not get the call, goes the other way. Offensive foul. James Harden's like, what's going on? It's only been happening to me for the whole season. More on this game later. Moving on to the weird. Hornets in LA. Time running out. Melo tries to save this and bounce it off Kelly Oubre in his Supreme sleeve. Instead, gets it to Malik Monk, who hits the 3. Malik ends up with 10. Melo ends up with 29. Rondo ends up ejected. Lakers win. More on that later. Moving on to the wonderful. Wolves down 3 in Memphis. Good song title. 1.1 seconds on the clock. Lob to Cat. Nope.
Bangarang.
Long-range bomb to Cat. Grizzlies still win, though. Memphis now in 5th place. Sneaky playoff team. And finally, the weird. Back to Nets Bulls. Harden, done complaining. Now he's celebrating because he got a call. I'm sure this endears you to the refs. I'm sure the refs will love this. Oh, you know what? We should give him more calls. Oh, great job, fellas. You lost. Nets lose. Harden shoots 3 free throws. Finishes with 14 points. And that's the weird and wonderful from National Pastime.
That's good stuff. Kevin Wilds. Back here with Antoine Walker. Time to run the fast break, starting with little Hornets Lakers. Still no LeBron, so the makeshift big three of AD, Russ, and Melo went to work. The Brow was the star. 32 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 3 steals on the defensive end as well. Melo had another lights-out shooting night off the bench. 7 of 10 from deep. He had 29. Russ triple-doubled, and the Lakers beat the Hornets in overtime. But, Nick, what did we learn about the Lakers last night?
Well, they almost had, if you didn't stay up late to watch this, this was almost an egregious loss. They were up 14 in the 4th. They were up 11 with 4 minutes left, and they damn near lost. And Antoine, they really almost lost because at the very end of regulation, when AD misses the 3 tied with the game tied, Russ commits a impossibly bad foul with 1 second left. And they got away with it because the Hornets had just called timeout. So the Lakers are not good right now. They are far too Carmelo Anthony reliant, and they cannot close out games without LeBron James. I mean, they blew a lead against OKC. They blew another lead against OKC. They tried to blow a lead against the Hornets. So listen, they needed a win, and the Hornets are a decent team. So you'll take that win. Obviously, AD was excellent, but I think LeBron is going to play 60 games this regular season, would be my guess. I think that would be smart. I think they're going to be every nick and bruise. They're going to give him an extra week. They got to figure out how to close out and finish games without LeBron James' hand on the joystick. So I'm glad the Lakers won, but that wasn't an impressive finish for them after they had the great end of 3rd, beginning of 4th quarter push to get a 14-point lead.
I think it's coming down now. If you watch the Lakers and if you've watched them these first 11 games, the problem is Russ, and Nick, you guys know I'm a huge Russ fan. But his decision-making has been bad late in games, and I actually believe that I think he's obviously going to get better, but it's starting to be a little disturbing. You look at last night, and AD shoots a three. That's uncalled for with the game tied up. Then you get another opportunity to close the game out. AD shoots another 15-foot jump shot without posting up. I want to blame Frank Vogel, and sometimes you want to blame it on the coach, but when you got guys that are possibly going to be Hall of Fame guys, guys that are top 75 guys that ever played this game, they should be able to close games out without LeBron James. So I do agree with you on that, Nick. Now, LeBron is very smart, one of the highest IQs that's ever played a game. But you can't tell me these guys are going to be future Hall of Famers. And I'm blaming Russ, AD, not so much Melo. Melo's been terrific and great offense. And shooting the three. It's the way that you should be
we lost you for a second there, Antoine. We lost you for a second, my friend. But yes, Melo's been excellent. And here's the thing for Russ, though, Antoine, where I will give him the benefit of the doubt is the beginning of his time in Houston, he was bad. The last 2.5 months of the season, he was exceptional. The exact same thing played out in Washington. He was awful, and the team was awful at the beginning of last season. The last couple months of the year, he was like 24, 14, and 14. The concern is this, Antoine. Even when Russ gets, let's just say he needs to hit his second half of the season legs, if you will, whatever it is, needs to get in the rhythm, understand his new teammates. He's not going to have the opportunities that he had in Washington last year because the ball is going to be in LeBron's hands. So I just think this is going to be a continuous work in progress. The team, for the first time under Vogel, Jenna, is not playing defense, which there's no excuse for that with Anthony Davis out there, and especially if you're going to be playing big. And they are trying to blow these games late. Right now, the Lakers look nothing like a championship-level team, and they haven't looked like a championship-level team all year. Now, because I believe in LeBron, I think they will get it figured out, and I also don't think they necessarily are going to have this roster the whole season. I think they have moves to make. But right now, the Lakers are a mediocre team, and that's how they've played through the first, 12% of the season, Antoine?
Well, I'm not going to jump off the ship yet. I'm going to stay on the ship because they're hurt. Whether people believe it or not, they need Kijik Nolan and Horton. They need to get younger, get some youth in that lineup. Those two guys are two young, terrific players that will help them out. They got to get LeBron James on the court. I don't know if seeding matters with this team because you got LeBron James, and he's proven that he can go in any arena in any big game and win a game on the road. So you want to be healthy. That's a main concern of mine. Can they be healthy at the end of the season? So they've got some concerns. And then the last thing I'll add to that, Frank Vogel has to coach these guys hard. You got to put aside what these guys have accomplished and coach them hard. This is what separates the Phil Jackson, the Popoviches of the world. They coach their players very hard. Pat Riley's. You have to coach them hard. You got to hold them accountable. You got to have tough film sessions. You have to show Russ his mistakes. I mean, it's crazy to say that, but you have to be tough on these guys to get these guys to stop making the same mistakes over and over. If we're 30 games into the season